Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Some people say money can't buy happiness. They clearly haven't had an ex cheat with your sister, crawl back begging, and reveal that their true love was your $50 million inheritance. Today in the rLounge, we're making sure those who tried to take everything from you walk away with nothing. Ex who cheated with my sister begged me back and tried to reconnect after I inherited $50 million, so I left him with nothing. I met him at my friend's birthday party. Wasn't looking for anything serious. After a couple of months of dating, we made things official. Looking back, everything moved pretty fast, but it felt right at the time. He'd surprised me with little gifts, planned thoughtful dates, and always made time for me despite his busy schedule. Looking back, when I introduced him to my family at my parents' anniversary dinner, my sister seemed oddly quiet. A few months into our relationship, we decided to move in together. We found a modest apartment and split the rent 50-50, though he often complained about money being tight. I later discovered he was spending lavishly on work events that never seemed to include me. During Christmas at my parents' house, I noticed my sister and my boyfriend exchanging glances. When I questioned him later, he dismissed it as me being paranoid. I let it go, but something felt off. Then, my grandfather passed away unexpectedly. I was devastated, as we were extremely close. My boyfriend seemed supportive at first, but quickly became impatient with my grieving. "It's been a week. Don't you think it's time to move on?" While planning the funeral, he was mysteriously unavailable. Claimed he had important meetings he couldn't reschedule. My sister was equally absent, citing personal issues. I was too caught up in grief to question it much. After the funeral, I received a call from my grandmother's lawyer informing me that I was the primary beneficiary of his estate. The inheritance was substantial, approximately $50 million, including properties, investments, and liquid assets. I was shocked as I had no idea my grandfather had amassed such wealth. I decided to keep the inheritance quiet until I processed everything. I only told my parents, who were aware but had respected my grandfather's wishes regarding the distribution of his assets. Valentine's Day rolled around, and my boyfriend suddenly became extra attentive, planning an elaborate dinner. Looking back, I suspect my sister had already told him about the inheritance despite my request for privacy. Then came the day that changed everything. I came home early from visiting my parents and found my boyfriend's car parked outside our apartment at an unusual time. I walked in quietly, thinking I might surprise him, and heard sounds coming from our bedroom. I opened the door to find my boyfriend and my sister having sex in our bed. The sheets I had bought, the room I had decorated. My sister didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. She just stared at me with this smug expression. My boyfriend immediately jumped up. "This isn't what it looks like. It only happened once." My sister said, "We've been seeing each other for 3 months. He was planning to break up with you anyway." I took photos of them and walked out. I checked into a hotel and blocked both their numbers. The only message I sent was to our family group chat, including the photos with the caption, "Found these two together. Don't contact me for a while." I woke up the next morning to 37 missed calls from my ex on my work phone and dozens of messages begging for forgiveness. My sister sent a text saying, "You were always so busy with work. He needed someone who could be there for him." I hired movers to pack my things while I knew both of them would be out. Left my key and a note saying, "Hope she was worth it. Don't contact me again." Then I met with my grandfather's lawyer to discuss the inheritance. I started making plans to move to a different city and invest the money. But then news of my inheritance somehow leaked. Suddenly, my phone was blowing up with messages from my ex. The tone shifted dramatically from, "I made a mistake," to, "We can work through this together," to, "I always believed in us." My sister showed up at my hotel, crying about how it was a mistake and how families should forgive each other. I closed the door in her face. My ex showed up at my parents' house looking for me. My dad, who was furious about the whole situation, told him in no uncertain terms that if he ever came near our family again, he'd regret it. Dad later told me he'd never seen someone leave so quickly. I purchased a penthouse apartment in a secure building with excellent security. As I was setting up my new life, I received flowers and an expensive watch from my ex with a card saying, "To new beginnings." I donated the watch to charity and sent him a picture of the donation receipt. He coincidentally ran into me at near my new place. Claimed he'd been thinking about us and realized what he threw away. I laughed in his face and walked out. The cafe staff, who had already become familiar with me as a regular, later told me they'd asked him to leave after I went. My sister attempted to reconcile by sending a long message about how men come and go, but sisters are forever. I blocked her on all platforms. The entitlement was astounding, as if betraying me was just a minor disagreement that I should get over. My sister had always been competitive with me, but I never thought she'd go this far. Growing up, she'd often try to one-up me or take things that were mine. Our parents tried to mediate, but as we got older, it seemed like she'd matured past that behavior. Clearly, I was wrong. What hurts the most isn't even the betrayal itself, but the calculation behind it. They weren't caught up in some passionate moment. They had been carrying on for months, behind my back, in my home. And then, when money entered the picture, they both suddenly wanted to make amends. I've been approached by people I barely know, old classmates and distant relatives, all of a sudden wanting to reconnect. It's amazing how many people come out of the woodwork when they think you have money. The inheritance has been a blessing and a curse. It's given the freedom to start over without financial concerns, but it's also shown me who people really are when money is involved. I've been careful about who I let into my life now. I don't tell new acquaintances about my financial situation, and I've become more observant of people's behaviors and motivations. It's not that I've become cynical, just more discerning. Some nights, I still replay the moment of discovery in my head. The look on my sister's face, not shame, but almost triumph, as if she'd won something by taking him from me. My ex's pathetic attempts to explain away what was happening, as if I couldn't see with my own eyes. The sheer audacity of their betrayal still stuns me sometimes. I've been asked if I miss either of them. The truth is, I miss who I thought they were. I miss the sister I believed I had, the one who would have my back no matter what. I miss the partner I thought was loyal and loving, but those people never existed. I've had people tell me I should be grateful for the inheritance, as if I'm not allowed to feel pain about the betrayal because I ended up wealthy. But money doesn't heal emotional wounds. It doesn't replace trust or family bonds. It simply provides more options for rebuilding. I've considered moving to another city entirely, starting fresh where no one knows me or my history. The inheritance makes that possible, but part of me resists the idea of being driven away from a place I love because of their actions. Why should I be the one to leave? There were signs of trouble long before I caught them together. Small inconsistencies, odd behaviors, moments of tension I couldn't quite explain. I dismissed those feelings, gave them the benefit of the doubt. I won't make that mistake again. I've thought about what I would say to them if we ever did speak again. What words could possibly address the magnitude of their betrayal? What response could ever be adequate? I've realized there's nothing to say. No conversation would change what happened or how I feel about it. Update 1. So, where to begin? I decided to hire a private investigator to look into my ex's sudden persistence. I wanted to understand why he was so desperate to get back into my life, beyond the obvious financial motivation. The PI discovered he's deeply in debt from failed investments and purchases he couldn't afford. He's been borrowing money from friends and family, promising to pay them back with a big windfall that's coming. The PI found evidence that he's been telling people he's getting back together with me and will have access to my inheritance. Last weekend, my ex showed up at a charity event I was attending. I have no idea how he knew I'd be there, probably through social media or a mutual acquaintance. He approached me with tears in his eyes, saying he never stopped loving me and made the biggest mistake of his life. Security escorted him out while he protested that he just wanted to talk. Then he somehow managed to get into my building by following another resident. Security caught him trying to access my floor, and he was escorted out and warned about trespassing charges. I filed for a restraining order based on his escalating behavior and repeated unwanted contact. The hearing is scheduled for next week. Some people have suggested I just give my ex some money to make him go away, but I know that would only encourage his behavior and validate his belief that he's entitled to my inheritance. Besides, I refuse to reward betrayal with financial gain. He made his choice when he decided to cheat with my sister, and now he can live with the consequences. As for my sister, I'm still processing the depth of her betrayal. We were never best friends, but I never expected her to cross this line. Some family members have suggested that I should at least hear her out, but I'm not ready for that. Maybe I never will be. The image of her smug face when I caught them is burned in my memory. That wasn't the face of someone who made a mistake. It was the face of someone who took pleasure in hurting me. Update 2. It's been about 2 months since my last update, and a lot has happened. Thanks again for all the support. Reading your comments has helped me stay strong through this ongoing mess. First, the most satisfying news. My ex was arrested for violating the restraining order. He showed up at a restaurant where I was having dinner with friends. When security approached him, he claimed it was a coincidence that we were at the same place. The restaurant hostess later confirmed to police that he had called earlier asking if I had a reservation. He wasn't even subtle about stalking me. The look on his face when the police arrived was something I'll never forget. Complete shock. like he genuinely couldn't believe there would be consequences for his actions. He kept saying, "This is just a misunderstanding," while being handcuffed. My sister showed up at my gym last week, claiming she had no idea I was a member there. This was the same gym we had specifically discussed me joining before all this happened. She tried to approach me in the locker room, but I walked out and spoke to management. I received notification that my ex had been fired from his job due to increasingly erratic behavior. According to a former colleague, he'd been showing up late, missing deadlines, and getting into arguments with coworkers. During his last week, he apparently told everyone that he was about to come into a large sum of money and wouldn't need this job much longer anyway. My sister got engaged to someone she's been dating for approximately 3 weeks. The desperation is palpable. I don't know this guy, but mutual acquaintances tell me he's already asking questions about family money and whether her relationship with me can be fixed. Good luck with that. Today I received word that my ex is moving across the country after his latest business venture failed spectacularly. He had been apparently telling potential investors that I was backing him financially, which fell apart when they did their due diligence. Without a job, without investors, and with legal troubles mounting, he's apparently decided to start fresh somewhere else. I'm relieved, but also cautious. Part of me worries this could be another manipulation tactic. My sister's hasty engagement already shows sign of collapse. Her fiancé has apparently discovered her history of helping my ex cheat, and now he's questioning her trustworthiness. According to a family friend, they had a very public argument at a restaurant where he accused her of only being interested in his money. Apparently he's reasonably successful. My parents have maintained minimal contact with my sister. They made it clear that while they won't cut off her completely, she's still their daughter. Their relationship will never be the same. My mom told me that the family gatherings have been tense and awkward, with my sister constantly trying to bring up the situation and my parents shutting down those conversations. I still have moments of anger where I think about their betrayal, but those moments are becoming less frequent. The restraining order against my ex has been extended for another year based on his violations. My lawyer is confident it will be granted again if needed, given his pattern of behavior. I'm hoping his move across the country means I won't have to deal with him anymore. Garbage. Pure, unfiltered garbage. They ganged up, timed it around an inheritance, used your home as their personal playground, and somehow acted like you were the problem. Your ex? Pathetic. Entitled. Desperate. And somehow shocked when karma knocked him on his butt. Your family? Either blind, complicit, or opportunistic vultures hovering over your inheritance like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Unfortunately, it do be like that sometimes. But you walked out, blocked them, upgraded to a penthouse, and set up a life they can't touch. OP, you made them look like absolute fools while you walked away richer, smarter, and untouchable. Bravo! Who needs them? Certainly not you. What would you have done? Let us know in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.